everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a session with Ivy on directional cues and kind of casting. We're going to be focusing on left and right, and we've not done a huge amount on this, so we'll just give it a go and see how we get on.
So whilst we haven't done a huge amount on casting, we're not starting from the very beginning. So the setup that we started with this session is I've got Ivy sat up in the middle there, and then we've got two white marker posts, one either side of her, both at about 15 yards away. And to start with, I've walked out to that post which is on her right and placed some food down so that she could see me putting something on the floor. I then come out in front of her, I blow my stop whistle, and then I cast her out with my hand or body language cue and my verbal out cue. She responds nicely and runs out to that post, eats the food, and then comes straight back. So that worked well and shows me that she is listening and she does remember. So then I just walk her back to the middle and we repeat the exact same exercise, but this time on her left. So then when I get back out in front of her, I then blow my stop whistle, and you'll see as I start to move my hand, she builds up some anticipation. Ooh, there it is. And she really wants to go. So I hold it a little bit longer to make sure she is waiting for the official cue, which she does. So then she gets sent out and then successfully completes that one. Now it's worth saying some people will train two different verbal cues for this, so you can have like an out and an away depending on which direction you're sending your dog. I don't, but I can see the benefit in it, especially if you're working your dog and maybe they can't see you properly. Having a verbal cue that they can respond to could be really useful, so that might be an option that you want to use. I've just been a bit lazy in training this, and I also think I confused myself in terms of what would be out and what would be away. But it's an option that some will probably want to consider. Now that she's shown me that she remembers the basics, we've moved on. So I have gone out and put some food at each post, and then I am casting her out to the one of my choosing. So she has the option to go either way, and she's having to listen to me to know which one to pick. So essentially the other post or the other piece of food is a distraction in this exercise. The way that you set this up will make it either easier or harder for the dog. So I made that one a little bit harder because I sent her for the first piece of food that I placed down. So your dog is more inclined to go to the last thing that you touched. So the last thing that you put down is where the dog's naturally more likely to go if they had a choice. So if you wanted to start out easier, start out sending them to that one. If you want to make it harder, send it to the first one that you dropped or placed. So now what I've done is I've gone and put food down by the post that she's just eaten from, and I'm casting her out for what is now technically a kind of memory on her left. And again, she responded beautifully to that and is following the correct instructions, so I was really pleased with that. And now that she's shown me that she can do this with food, we are going to have a go with our dummies and get her actually retrieving in this exercise. So again, I plonk her up in the middle, and then I go and walk out in front. And then I throw two dummies out, one at the post to her right and another towards the post on her left. And then I just repeat the same exercise, so I blow my stop whistle and then I choose which one I want her to go for. In this case, I'm sending her to her left, and she responds nicely to that and comes and delivers in front without whizzing about. So that's a double win for me. And with these sort of exercises, I do think it's important that you mix up the difficulty levels. So you're not always sending her for the most difficult retrieve or the most difficult option, because otherwise she's just going to get the game and she's always going to expect that she's being sent for the first one that was placed. So mixing it up, I think, will help with our training. This time I set her up again and then walk back out and throw the dummy back to the post that she's just retrieved from, although this throw was absolutely atrocious and lands kind of halfway between her and the post. And I'm going to be sending her to the memory on her right. Now this is even trickier now because the distraction dummy was a lot closer to her, so that's another aspect that you can play about with. If you have the distraction dummy closer than the dummy you're sending them to, it's going to be more tempting. And in reverse, if your dog's struggling a bit, you can have the distraction dummy a lot further away than the dummy that you're sending your dog to. So playing about with those distant factors will help either make it easier for your dog to be successful or make it more challenging for them if that's what they need now. But again, they're another really successful repetition, so I'm happy with that. So I then go and pick that other dummy up and we have a little break before continuing. So then after our break, I ask her to sit up and then I walk out. I drop a dummy out by the post which will be on her left, and then I throw one out to the post on her right. And then I recall her back to me, so just adding another element of training into the session and the setup. And then I walk out in front, and this time I send her to the one on her left, which was placed quite unexcitingly. So again, it's going to make it a little bit trickier for her. And it was the first one placed, but she responds beautifully to that. Runs out, picks it, and comes straight back to deliver in front. So while everything's working well and she's getting success, I decide to finish the session there, so she still wants more. And ultimately with these sort of exercises, there are loads of different factors that you can play about with to either make the exercise easier for the dog or to make it more challenging, depending on what stage you're at and what you're looking for. So you can play about with the distance that the item is from the dog. You can play about with how far away you are from the dog when you're casting them. Play about with the distance of the distraction items, whether that's close to them or far away. And how you place the items down. So whether or not you throw them with lots of excitement, you can drop it subtly or even place it as a blind to make it really challenging. So I think that's all for now, but as always, if you have any tips, any advice or any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below. And if not, well, thanks for watching.